If you've been following Singapore's motorsport scene, you probably heard about this car and about its driver Johnny Wong. But where did it all started?
To start, we need to go back to 1996 when Michael Jackson was at Sim Lim Square and Growing Up just came out.
And Carpark Rallies were the rave back then. Competition was fierce and everybody wanted a piece of the action.
And one of them was none other than a 22-year-old Johnny Boy. Inspired by the late D. Krishnan, he rocked up at the start line in his very first car, a 1993 Honda Civic EG9.
You will not be going up against one Civic or 5 Civics, but 15 Civics, including your Evo, Impreza, Daihatsu Charade, all your Tiongqia lah. Well, I know what you might be thinking. It's just driving around car park with codes. Well, there are many different categories. Super Sprint, Carpark Rally, and Auto Test. So how different are they?
Super Sprint, like the name itself, is doing a run in a figure of 8 and ending with a flying finish. Carpark Rally involves a driver and a navigator as there are transport stages in between different car parks around Carpark Stadium. Lastly, Auto Test. It is to test your precision driving skills both forwards and reverse. Why do they open the area? Not for downforce, but rather better visibility when reversing.
And yes, that's Johnny going backwards in a rental Nissan March. That's why rental companies these days got disclaimer saying, cannot bring rental car, go to Motorsports. Thanks Johnny.
You're welcome.
You have to remember, this was the late 90s. EasyLink wasn't a thing yet, and you still had to buy bus tickets.
What I'm saying is the internet wasn't accessible by everyone yet. Information about modifying your car isn't widely available like today. You had to read off information online on forums or waited monthly for your hot stuff magazines.
So in a nutshell, no two cars were identical. Everyone had a different idea of what they thought was best for car park rallies. This is why competition was stiff. Protesting against each other was a norm.
Why leh? Cause everybody wanted to win the Supergrade Trophy. It's like the holy grail lah.
Achieving this trophy wasn't an easy thing. Participants had to participate in all 3 disciplines.
Earning points along the way, the driver that earns the most points wins the Supergrade Trophy. After driving the Civic for a while, like anyone else, Johnny decided it was time to upsize.
With the excitement surrounding turbocharged Japanese cars with all-wheel drive in the 2000s and the frequent release of new Evo models every 2 years, it was only natural for Johnny to acquire the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 8 MR RS.
However, this is where local motorsports started to decline, probably because everyone looking for mas selamat lah.
With rising costs of living and the financial crisis of 2008, many shy away from the idea of pursuing motorsports. Not to mention the further enforcement of vehicles modifications by LTA. Most people find it difficult to use their road-registered vehicles to participate in events.
Well, when I say most people, Johnny is not like most people lah. Having a track-registered Evo 8 pushed the boundaries of research and modification, and this is what we have today lah.
Today, we still have a handful of enthusiasts that pursue grassroots motorsports. But you see, it's a dying trend. So why? Motorsports have become common among most Singaporeans in our everyday lives. For example, Formula 1 has been held every year since 2008, and with Porsche's upcoming Experience Centre, it all sounds promising on paper. However, these are catered to tourists and specific brands, and it is unable to provide opportunities for beginners to participate with their own cars at a low-budget grassroots level. So here's what a handful of Singaporeans are trying to do locally. Small communities like the Singapore Auto Gymkhana Group make efforts to host such events such as autocross time trials and Gymkhana, providing locals with opportunities to explore their car's performance and experience speed in a safe, controlled environment. However, consistency is a challenge due to limited land availability and regulations. Compared to the Michael Jackson Sim Lim Square era, as we discussed earlier, it has become increasingly difficult for organisers to plan events and for drivers to participate locally, be it a first-timer or a competitive level. Their alternative to pursuing their passion, travelling abroad to destinations such as Sepang, MIMC or even Thailand to compete law. So, long story short, a 22-year-old enthusiast today will not have that same opportunity as that 22-year-old Johnny did when he first stepped into Kallang. Logically speaking, we should have a motorsports park or even a dedicated space to experience motorsports locally. But even if we did, would that truly solve all our problems? Or have we reached to the point of no return and just jalan elsewhere?